All right, here we go. Monday's morning long balls, Monday's morning kick around long balls. There's some headlines that we want to get to on this episode of the show. Starting with Major League Soccer, it continues to be interesting. The beginning of this MLS season, we had some results here that I'm going to throw up on the screen that kind of get into some surprises, I guess, when it comes to the way the MLS season has started. 3 match days into the regular season campaign. And looking at this, what stands out to me is that Seattle Sounders 5-2 victory over LAFC. Now, both of these teams obviously involved in some extra league competitions, the CONCACAF Champions Cup. So a little bit of a different approach, perhaps, in terms of rotation and things like that for Brian Schmetzer and Steve Cherundolo. And these teams, they have a history. For a while, the Sounders couldn't beat LAFC. They did last year, managed to get to that Western Conference final before losing to the Galaxy. And, they just went off in this game with 5 goals. But as I said, rotation part of the story for both sides. Denis Bouanga was the substitute. That tells you a lot about what Steve Cherundolo was thinking about. Ryan Hollingshead came off the bench in the second half. Rusnak, Morris, Alex Roldan, Christian Roldan, all those players on the bench to start the game for the Seattle Sounders. You did have Masovsky coming off early, which allowed Rusnak to come on. He picks up a couple assists and a goal. So a big win for the Sounders, but tough to know what it means, sort of big picture. I'm going to skip over the goalless games. Disappointed to see Atlanta and Red Bulls give us nothing. Peru and Houston Dynamo give us no goals as well. The Union keep their good season start off to they keep their good season start going, rather, with a 2-0 victory over New England. I think it's going to be pretty bad. I think New England's pretty bad again. And I caught a post from Matt Doyle over on Blue Sky where he said maybe it's time to start asking questions about Caleb Porter in New England. And my response was start. I think we've been doing that. A little bit of surprised to see Caleb Porter get another chance in New England after what happened last season. And here they are having a pretty poor start to the season. Ty Baribeau with another goal. I think is that 6 on the year? Do I have that number right? 5 goals, excuse me. It was 4 through the first 2 games, rather. Now it's 5 through 3 games for Ty Baribeau, the Israeli striker for the Philadelphia Union. I think we were all kind of down on the Union after their decision to part ways with Jim Curtin. But it looks like Bradley Carnell's got them going in the right direction. That high press system is paying dividends for the Union. NYCFC with a victory over Orlando. Colorado goes down and wins in Texas 1-0. Chicago beats Dallas. Maybe neither one of those teams with big expectations. Of course, Dallas bringing in Lucha Acosta means things change dramatically from an offseason that looked pretty bad. Chicago rebuilt under Greg Berhalter, still a work in progress. They gave up an early goal and then found 3 to win that game. Last one being a penalty kick, I think is a little bit questionable for me. But the thing about Dallas is not only are they rebuilding the team, they're rebuilding the stadium. I think it probably missed some people's notice. Probably some people didn't realize what was going down there in Frisco. They're putting a roof on the building, like all the way around, I believe. And for the next couple of years, that place is going to hold like 11,000 people. They had 11,000 out per FOTMOB at this game in Frisco, and it's not going to be a great atmosphere in Frisco, Texas. Not that it ever really was. I don't think FC Dallas was ever held up as a place you really wanted to, or you really worried about going on the road, except for the heat. They were always good at home because of the heat in the summertime. Chicago with the victory. Nashville 2-0 over the Portland Timbers. I'm not saying it's time to ask questions about the Timbers' direction. And they did spend some money, and there's going to be a betting in process. But I don't know how much people will give Phil Neville patience in Portland. San Diego, 3-1 winners over RSL. Don't know what to make of RSL, right? They've had a couple of poor performances and a victory that stood out over Seattle. And then San Diego, starting off the season unbeaten, starting off their existence unbeaten. 3 games, 7 points, plus 4 goal differential. The only game where they didn't win and didn't score was against St. Louis City. So they've now beaten the Galaxy. We'll get to them in a second. and they've beaten Real Salt Lake. Vancouver 2-0 over Montreal. Quakes fall to Minnesota United at home. I think Minnesota United's going to be pretty decent this year. Obviously, the Quakes had a good start through 2 games, but they hadn't played anybody decent, I don't think. Again, RSL, maybe not one of the best teams in the West. Inter Miami 1, Charlotte 0, and this game notable because Lionel Messi again did not start. We knew that going in. I think there was word ahead of the game that Javier Mascherano was not going to play Lionel Messi from the beginning, but he was a substitute. He was on the bench, but then he never got to play because Inter Miami went down a man via a red card. They're making this a habit now, playing down 10 men, and they still end up winning the game. The goal from Allende in the 46th minute, he had the red card to Oscar Ustari, the goalkeeper, as he had come way out and ends up committing a foul on Ajamang. But Charlotte unable to find the goal, and so Inter Miami wins again, despite the red card. We don't know about Lionel Messi. Again, healthy enough, fit enough, rather, to be on the bench, but doesn't get off. Does that mean he's ready to start when they go down to Jamaica and play Cavalier in that second leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup? Remember, they have a 2-0 lead from the first leg. They maybe didn't deserve it, but I think a lot of people thought Lionel Messi, maybe would be playing a little bit more than he has been so far. I don't know. What is the right approach to a 37-year-old player when he's as big as a name as he is? And we've already had a little bit of that controversy over him not playing in Houston and people having bought tickets. Buyer beware, right? Go ahead and buy your tickets, but be careful. The Galaxy losing 3-0 at home to St. Louis City. Well, the Galaxy setting new standards for a post-championship hangover. I mean, we watched them have to dismantle that team, or rather the logic was they had to dismantle that team because of the budget issues that Major League Soccer presents. And what's fascinating is that, yes, the Galaxy are bad, but no one is really blaming them. Will Kuntz put together a championship team last year and got praised for it. He's the guy that has to oversee the changes that now the Galaxy are dealing with as they are 0-3 on the new season. 4 games, actually, if you include the CONCACAF Champions Cup that they've lost already this season. Are they set for a historically bad year following a playoff campaign? We've had teams, in the recent past, we've had teams win championships and miss the playoffs the next year. Could the Galaxy be the next one? And instead of it being, they failed here, will this be a focus on Major League Soccer and the rules and how the league doesn't know what it's doing or is hurting good teams and preventing teams from maybe putting together multiple great seasons, which could, depending on your viewpoint, attract more attention, get more people to pay attention to the league if they know, hey, year from year to year, we're going to watch a team be great.